Armor can be a life-saving piece of kit, but just because a plate can prevent a bullet from piercing your body does not mean you will live to tell the tale. Today we're going to be testing out the RTS Level 3 Plus steel plate with their RESES technology, which we'll talk about more here in a minute. If you would like to support the channel, you can hit that subscribe button so you know when there are new videos being released, or you can check out our affiliates. We work with Mira Safety if you're looking for CBRN, Hardhead Veterans if you're looking for tactical helmets. We also work with Grayman Tactical. They provide rigid MOLLE panels for your vehicle or for gun cases if you need a way to stow gear or weapons. What are some things to consider when we're looking at testing an armor plate? Well, whether or not a bullet penetrates is just one part of the story. You have a few other things you have to worry about, including the blunt force trauma of the plate being smashed against your chest when a round impacts it, backface deformation, which is the amount of bulge that happens where the round actually impacts the plate, even if it doesn't actually penetrate the plate. And then you also have to worry about what's called spalling. Spalling is the debris and shrapnel as the round disintegrates when it hits the plate. And if you have no way to control that, that shrapnel goes up into the underside of your neck and maybe your arms. So in terms of what we're testing out today, again, we are looking at the RTS Tactical Level 3 Plus. Now 3 Plus is not an NIJ recognized rating. They rate it up to 3. And what 3 allows for is stopping 5.56 lead core, 7.62 by 3.9 lead core. The 3 Plus is independent companies have done additional testing and additional protection to allow it to stop 5.56 green tip, as well as 308 lead core and 7.62 by 3.9 lead core. So we're going to be testing it for a variety of rounds today to see if we get any kind of backface deformation, any kind of penetration, and then whether or not they're spalling. Now these plates have the RTS Tactical patent pending technology called RESES. And basically what it is they have a layer of cork that's been adhered to the front of the plate, and then the whole thing's been covered in Linex. Now what they claim is that the cork acts like a trap for the shrapnel, so that when the round impacts and disintegrates, that cork absorbs that shrapnel and prevents it from going up into your face. So we are going to be testing the armor at 10 yards. We have it set up inside of a cardboard box. So basically when the round impacts, if there is spalling, we'll be able to see the effects of that spalling on the cardboard box. Now granted, we're not doing a true test on whether or not it would pierce flesh, because cardboard obviously will get marked up faster than flesh will, but it gives us a good idea of what is exploding off of the front of that plate when we test it. So we're going to start low and start with a 9mm and move our way up, and then we might thump it with a slug at the end. So stay with us. Let's go ahead and go test the plate. All right, we're going to start small. This is a 9mm full metal jacket, 115 grain out of a 4 1/4 inch barrel. Go check it out. No backface deformation. I think that's where the round went in, but that's kind of cool, guys. So yeah, I can feel a divot here where the cork has been displaced, where it's more solid up here, but there's no spall that I can see. Let's go ahead, back it up, shoot it again with something else. All right, we've done the 9mm, stepping it up. We're going to do a subsonic 300 blackout. Now this is a pretty substantial step up, but it should be able to stop it. So let's go ahead and check it out. These are 220 grain hollow point subsonic 300 blackout. All right, let's go check it out. Well, there's the impact right here. I can feel how mushy it is there. No backface deformation, no penetration. Okay, I'm actually kind of impressed. There's no spall. Let's go ahead and step it up to the next round. Next up, 120 grain, 300 blackout, supersonic. All right, let's go check it out. All right, well, I think this is my impact is over here. I actually am not entirely sure. I can feel the cork is bubbling a little bit, but we still don't have any backface deformation. But you can feel like the cork, you probably see a little bit of a bulge where the round is impaled in there. We might try and dig these out after we're done. So I do see some specks in here that weren't there before, really small. We're talking minute, that may have been spalling off of the plate. But usually when you see spalling, it's larger kind of cuts, not tiny little specks. So my suspicion is if there is any kind of spalling, it might actually be the cork or rubber coming off the end that's going fast enough to print the cardboard. But no spalling like what you see when you shoot a steel plate. We're going to go ahead and take it up another notch and shoot some 7.62 by 3.9 and some 5.56 and see how it does.
All right, this is a 16 inch AKM 7.62 by 39, shooting some 123 grain full metal jacket, nothing special spam can stuff. All right, go check it out. So, a little bit of deformation. With these hits earlier, I think we're starting to see some disintegration of the cork material. So as we get further into it with these heavier rounds, you may see some different things happen. We do have some deformation back here. There's a small.
He's also got full separation, look.
Yeah.
So your entire...
I don't really think this was adhered. This looks more like it was just like a coating and just kind of sealed on, because this is too fine of a seam. Maybe.
Yeah, that's I'd call that a critical failure at this point. So that was on the 7.62 by 3.9.
Yep.
So you can see inside here, the cork is pretty much entirely disintegrated. Now, I want to point out that we've got separation of the RESES, like the cork is completely disintegrated. We did hit this with multiple rounds at once, like not at once, but in succession. So we're not doing new plates every time we shoot it. So basically, up to this point, we've hit it with a 115 grain 9mm full metal jacket. We've hit it with a 300 blackout subsonic 220 grain. We've hit it with a 300 blackout 120 grain supersonic. We've hit it with a 7.62 by 3.9 123 grain supersonic. So at this point, I think what you're going to see is the cork has become disintegrated, and that's part of what is causing this separation. But again, like Caleb said, it looks like there isn't actually an adhesive. It's relying on the Line X coating to keep it intact, but obviously that is not enough. Now granted, it took multiple hits, so in terms of actually testing this for what it's supposed to do, it's done all right, but I think with the cork falling out the bottom, it's no longer going to do its job in terms of spall. It may do its job in terms of penetration, because we have a little bit of backface deformation where that 7.62 by 3.9 hit. I actually don't see any major spalling. So again, there's a little bit that has fallen out of the bottom, but the cork actually seems to have done its job. So what we're going to do is, I think this plate is pretty much done. I think we're going to save it and shoot it one more time at the end and see what happens now that the plate is compromised. See what happens when it gets hit by something large, like maybe a slug. I've got one more plate, so we're going to switch out and shoot the other plate with some 5.56 and a 308 and see how it does.
Here goes nothing. All right, so it knocked it over. I didn't hear a thud. We got some deformation. I hit it about here. Not sure if the camera picked that up.
Any penetration?
No penetration, but we got a little bit of deformation back here where it hit, but nothing.
Let's check the box.
Oh,
look at that.
Not a little bit on the edge.
A little bit of spalling. You can see where it went through the box.
Both sides. On this left-hand side as well.
So again, normally when you shoot a steel plate, that spalling will be more pronounced. So this is minimal spalling, but it still does have some. Let's go ahead.
It still would hurt if it hit you in the throat.
Yep. All right, so we just did 7.62 by 3.9 supersonic. We're going to go ahead and do 55 grain full metal jacket out of a 14.5 inch barrel. Check it out. So I think I hit it about right here. Again, I can feel that the cork is disintegrated behind. I don't really see any separation of the layers. I actually don't really feel, there might be a little bit of a bulge right here, but I mean, it's so minimal. Looks like a little bit of new spalling, but again, it's very minimal, very minimal. Next up, these are 3+ plates, which means they should stop 5.56 green tip. We're going to try that next. All right, 5.56, 62 grain, green tip out of a 14.5. Check it out. Okay, actually pretty impressed with that. There's my impact up here, the upper left. I can feel where the cork is gone. No back face deformation that I can feel. Maybe that might be one of the earlier rounds, so I don't feel anything where I actually hit. Maybe a little bit of spalling on the side here.
That was there.
I'm not sure if that was there before or not. We probably should have marked it, but the thing is, guys, the spalling is so tiny compared to, again, what you would see off of an unprotected plate that while it would suck to get hit by it, you might survive it, if that makes sense. Again, this isn't a completely scientific test, but we're doing our best here.
I have some feelings about this one.
I can already see some effects of that one.
All right, so I would say no penetration, but we definitely have some coating separation. She's got a nice bulge right here on the back.
Not very deep though.
No, that's not terrible. Hit about here. You should be able to dig that one out.
Yeah, we can check that here in a minute. Let's leave it for now because I kind of want to hit it with a slug while it's in that kind of state and see what happens.
Yeah. All right, set this down, and we do have some.
Yeah. Oh, that might have been a plate impact in the back actually.
But we got some jacketing here on the ground.
That may have just fallen out the bottom.
Yeah.
We have any additional? That might
a little bit.
So
nothing on the top.
Okay. Okay guys, as you can see, after a few rounds, we start to see critical separation of the actual cork layer and the actual plate. As the cork gets hit by multiple rounds, you get disintegration of the actual coating and you get a lot of pressure being put on the seams of this plate. That being said, we didn't experience any actual penetration or any major backface deformation, so the steel is stopping the rounds it's supposed to stop. We also saw minimal spalling, which was the point of this coating to begin with. So while we did see a little bit, we're talking just speckles of spall. It is much smaller than you normally see from hitting like a traditional plate. Would it still rip you up a bit? Yeah. Could it still kill you? Yeah, potentially if it hits something vital. So again, guys, spalling is an issue with steel plates, even with steel plates that have a fancy coating like the RESES technology. But if you are going to run steel plates, I would recommend getting something like these. The testing, again, is it super scientific? No, we did hit it with a variety of rounds that it's supposed to stop. It did do a pretty good job of stopping spall. It did do a great job of stopping penetration. We didn't test for blunt force trauma, so you would want to wear trauma pads with these. But between the spalling and the backface deformation, I'd say it did pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and thump one of the plates that's already in a bad state because it's starting to separate, but we're gonna hit it with a slug and see what happens if you get hit with a plate that's already starting to come apart. A300 Patrol Beretta with just a, I don't know what kind of slug, big ass slug.
1 ounce. Good heavens.
Let's go take a look. Complete separation. You can see this is where the cork sits. This is the front of the plate. So we have a pretty big notch here. I'm pretty sure this is the slug, or that could have been the 308. I'm not sure, but
top one's 308.
That's where the slug hit. We do have a little bit more of a bulge than some of the other rounds, but no penetration. How's the... Impressively, so that damage on the back is from the plate actually impacting the cardboard. I don't see a lot of additional spall. Well, there, I mean, again, we have some speckles. So even in its compromised state, it looks like it stopped a lot of that spalling that you normally would see. So guys, take with it what you will. This is not scientific testing. We hit it with a variety of rounds to see how it performed. I hope that was helpful for you. Regardless of what plate choice you go with, it's a good idea to try and watch some tests like this on YouTube. Most armor plates that are on the market will have videos of them testing. Also, if you can find some that are NIJ certified, they've gone through rigorous testing. So take a look at that data, take a look at what tests people are doing on these different plates. Most important thing is go out and train. Once you buy plates and plate carrier, it's totally different to move around in it. You can't look cool unless you train. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the roof.